You might be doing more harm than good without even realizing it. Did you know that 1 in 3 children experience anxiety or depression by the time they reach adolescence? It's not just the big issues we have to worry about. Small, everyday habits can have a huge impact on your child's happiness. If you've ever found yourself wondering, why is my child acting out, or what am I doing wrong, you're not alone. Most parents want the best for their kids, but sometimes what we think is helpful can actually hold them back. From overpraising them to stepping in too quickly when things go wrong, there are parenting habits you might need to rethink. In this video, we're going to explore the surprising things that could be affecting your child's happiness and well-being, and how small changes can lead to big improvements. Get ready to discover what you're doing wrong, and more importantly, how to stop. It's time to break free from habits that keep your child from thriving. Let's dive in and uncover the real secrets to raising a happier, more confident child. Chapter 1. The over-control trap. Let go and watch them thrive. One of the most common mistakes parents make is over-controlling their children's lives. The idea that micromanaging every decision will lead to better outcomes is far from the truth. Studies show that children with overbearing parents tend to lack problem-solving skills and struggle with anxiety later in life. Instead of hovering, give your child room to breathe. Encourage them to make small decisions, even if it's just choosing what to have for breakfast. This not only boosts their confidence but also gives them a sense of control over their own lives. Research from the American Psychological Association shows that children who are allowed to make their own choices tend to be more resilient and have higher self-esteem. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning responsibility, it's about trust. Trust that your child can handle challenges. If they make a mistake, it's a learning opportunity. Dr. Laura Markham, a renowned parenting expert, argues that children are not born with the ability to make great decisions, but they are born with the ability to learn how to make them. Have you ever noticed how children seem to thrive when given some freedom? It's because they learn to solve problems on their own. Studies show that kids who have more independence from their parents tend to have better decision-making skills as they grow older. This doesn't mean they should be left alone to navigate the world, but rather guided through the process. When you let your child take charge of their own decisions, they become more self-sufficient. And that's exactly what they need to be happy. This doesn't mean stepping back completely, it means giving them space to stretch their wings. Let them deal with the consequences, good or bad, because that's how they grow. A small study from the University of California found that children with more autonomy performed better in school and had stronger social skills. So next time you feel the urge to step in, think about how much better it would be to let them try it on their own first. Chapter 2. The perfect parent syndrome. Why perfection is the enemy of joy. We all strive to be perfect parents. We want to get it right every time, to make sure our kids grow up happy, healthy, and successful. But here's the truth: striving for perfection can do more harm than good. In fact, it often leads to stress, burnout, and unhappiness. Research from the University of BC shows that parents who set unrealistic standards for themselves tend to experience higher levels of anxiety and depression. And here's the kicker: this stress is contagious. Your child picks up on your anxiety, and it can affect their emotional health, too. Instead of focusing on perfection, focus on connection. Take a step back and think about the last time you felt truly connected with your child. It wasn't because everything was going perfectly, it was likely because you were fully present, no distractions, just being together. Dr. Brené Brown, a researcher on vulnerability and shame, says, imperfection is the birthplace of creativity and connection. And she's right. When you embrace your flaws and show your child that it's okay to not be perfect, you model resilience and self-acceptance. Perfectionism can lead to the constant pressure of trying to keep up with other parents, but this only creates unnecessary stress. According to a report by the American Academy of Pediatrics, parental stress is linked to poor emotional outcomes in children. So, instead of chasing perfection, aim for progress. Ask yourself, how much of your stress is tied to unrealistic expectations? When you can let go of the idea that everything must be flawless, you'll notice a shift, not just in yourself, but in your child's happiness too. It's about showing them that it's okay to make mistakes and that you don't need to have everything figured out. Chapter 3. Praise Overload. How too much complimenting can backfire. We all want to celebrate our children's achievements, but sometimes, overpraising them can do more harm than good. While praise can be a great motivator, when it's too frequent or too excessive, it can create unrealistic expectations and even lead to anxiety. Research from the University of Michigan found that children who receive excessive praise for their abilities, like being called smart or talented, are more likely to develop a fear of failure. This is because they begin to feel that their worth is tied to constant success, and anything less than perfect becomes a disappointment. The key is to praise effort, not just outcomes. Instead of saying, "You're so smart, try, you worked really hard on that." Praise the process, not the result. This teaches children that their effort is valued, and that mistakes are part of learning, not a failure. In fact, Carol Dweck, a psychologist at Stanford University, calls this the growth mindset. Dweck's research shows that children who believe their abilities can grow through effort are more resilient and less likely to give up after a setback. The right kind of praise helps children develop a sense of internal motivation, rather than relying on external validation. When children are constantly praised for their inherent traits, they may become dependent on validation from others. This creates pressure to always be the best, which can lead to anxiety. You don't have to stop praising your child, but make sure you're doing it in a way that helps them build confidence, not fear. A small change in how you offer praise can make a huge difference in how your child perceives themselves and their abilities. So, next time your child accomplishes something, think about how you can praise the effort. This reinforces the idea that hard work leads to progress and that failure is simply another step toward success. If you're finding this helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more insights on raising happier, more confident kids. Chapter 4. The helicopter parent dilemma. How hovering hurts your child's confidence. It's natural to want to protect your child from harm, but hovering too much can backfire. Helicopter parenting, as it's known, is when you constantly monitor and control every aspect of your child's life. While it might feel like you're being a good parent, research shows it can actually harm your child's development in the long run. Studies from the University of Maryland found that children with helicopter parents tend to struggle with independence and confidence. These children are often less prepared to deal with life's challenges, as they haven't had the chance to solve problems on their own. Allowing children to face challenges without constant intervention helps them build resilience. Dr. Madeline Levine, a psychologist and author, explains, children need to experience failure to learn how to cope with adversity. This doesn't mean you shouldn't guide them, it means letting them try things on their own and learn from mistakes. You might worry about your child making mistakes, but these experiences are essential. They teach critical life skills like decision-making, problem-solving, and emotional regulation. In fact, a study published in Developmental Psychology shows that children who experience manageable failure are better equipped to handle setbacks as adults. Helicopter parents often try to shield their children from any discomfort, but avoiding failure doesn't protect them. Instead, it sets them up for a lack of confidence and an inability to handle disappointment later in life. Next time you catch yourself hovering, pause and ask, is this something my child can handle on their own? It's all about finding the balance between guidance and independence. Encouraging self-sufficiency will lead to a more confident, happy child who knows how to navigate life's ups and downs. Chapter 5. The Comparison Game. Why competing with other parents can sabotage your child's happiness. We've all been there. Watching another parent's child excel and feeling like ours aren't measuring up. Comparing your child to others, whether it's in academics, sports, or social life, can create unnecessary pressure. It can even harm your child's self-esteem and happiness. According to a study by the Journal of Child Development, children whose parents frequently compare them to others tend to experience higher levels of anxiety. They also struggle with feeling like they are never good enough, which can erode their self-worth over time. Each child is unique, and comparing them to others doesn't allow them to shine in their own way. Dr. Daniel J. Siegel, a clinical professor of psychiatry, suggests that parents should focus on their child's own growth, rather than placing them in competition with peers. Every child develops at their own pace, he says. Your job is to nurture their individual potential, not to fit them into someone else's mold. When parents compare their children to others, it often leads to feelings of inadequacy. Children pick up on this and may start to believe they have to compete for love and approval. This constant comparison can take away the joy of simply being a kid. Instead of measuring your child against others, focus on their individual strengths and progress. Celebrate their unique talents and interests, even if they're different from those of other children. By doing this, you'll help your child develop a stronger sense of self and a more positive mindset. Studies show that children who feel supported and accepted for who they are, without comparisons, are more likely to be happy and confident. So, the next time you find yourself comparing, stop and shift your focus back to your child's personal journey. Chapter 6. The busy parent myth. Why less is more when it comes to activities in today's world? It's easy to think that more is better. More activities, more classes, more time spent on achievement. But here's the truth: being busy doesn't necessarily lead to happiness. In fact, too many activities can overwhelm both you and your child, leading to burnout and stress. A report from the American Academy of Pediatrics reveals that children with overscheduled lives are more likely to experience anxiety and depression. When children are constantly running from one activity to the next, they miss out on the simple joys of childhood, like downtime and quality family time. It's essential to slow down and allow your child time to relax, play, and explore without pressure. A study from the University of Michigan showed that children with more free time are more creative and have better mental health. When there's room for unstructured play, kids can explore their interests and develop a strong sense of self. What many parents don't realize is that less structured time allows children to build emotional intelligence and creativity. Instead of rushing from one activity to the next, try leaving gaps in your schedule. Let your child choose what they want to do during these open moments. Whether it's reading, drawing, or just playing outside, free time is vital for their mental well-being. Overscheduling can also lead to tension in the parent-child relationship. When your child feels like they're constantly on the clock, it can cause friction. You're not just building their skills in activities, you're also inadvertently teaching them to prioritize achievements over balance and happiness. The key is to find a healthy balance. You don't have to fill every hour of the day with lessons or sports. Instead, focus on quality over quantity. Prioritize activities that bring your child joy and allow for growth, rather than overloading their schedule. Ultimately, it's about creating space for relaxation and connection. When children have the freedom to be bored, they often discover new passions, develop deeper relationships with their family, and experience less stress. So, take a step back and remember, less really can be more when it comes to your child's happiness. If this video has helped, don't forget to subscribe for more tips and strategies to create a happier, healthier childhood for your kids.